did you meet?
You want to go first?
Okay.
Long story.
This is so sorry. This just feels so weird to me. I moved to Orange County. I moved back to Orange County in December of 2015, and I met Michael through a mutual friend. We were in Diamond Jamboree, and our friend said, "Hey, look, there's Mike Ty," and immediately I was like, "Who is that? Who is that man?" But we
Me?
yes, but we just started talking, and we realized that our birthdays were three days apart, and we're celebrating it at the same place. And after that, we just started hanging out, and I was always so in love with him, but he friend zoned me for a year and a half.
Yes, I did.
He friend zoned me, and when I was going to walk away, all of a sudden Michael said, "Oh, let's go ahead and date." And I think I'm doing the short version of it all, but
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
why don't you tell it then? You tell it.
So let's get to the juicy part. She moved back to Orange County and she went on Tinder, and she was trying to make friends back here in Orange County. And she met a guy on Tinder. She swiped right. Mm-hmm. So she went on a Tinder date with this guy who ended up being a friend of mine, a fraternity brother of mine actually. And her cousin was so adamant about going on this date that Alexis asked this guy to bring a friend. So they double dated, which we fast forward that my buddy and her cousin ended up getting married, which is a beautiful story on its own. Mm-hmm. But what led to it was what she was saying on one, I think it was March, April of 2016. I was in Diamond Jamboree, I think just eating, and we came across each other and became friends and started hanging out, celebrating our birthdays together. And yeah, started hanging out. And then I think 2017, as we were hanging out so much, but like she said, I friend zoned her, and I decided
when I was going to walk away, he decided that he wanted to date me after all.
Yeah.
So then we tried dating, but it felt really, for me, it felt really pressured. Mm-hmm. And we weren't like ourselves anymore. We weren't best friends anymore. It was
I had this list. That my future girlfriend, spouse had to be specific things. And at that time, Alexis wasn't those specific things. And in my head, I was like, you know what? This isn't going to work out. And so I broke it off. Fast forward, I got into another relationship, mm-hmm. which is another story on its own for 2.5 years. And that didn't work out, obviously, because we're here now. And it wasn't until February of 2020, I actually came across God in a different way. I was raised in a religion, and I learned from a church from far away about the relationship with God. And so what happened was, in that time, late 2020, I was just moved, or late 2019, I was just moved in a way where the church from Oklahoma actually brought me out to Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Shout out to Transformation Church in February of 2020, where I really surrendered my life over to God. Jump over, COVID kicks off in March, and then April comes around, and I actually was told in prayer to walk away from the relationship I was in, which was interesting, right? Like, who would have thought? May of 2020 comes around, and I'm in prayer, and God tells me, hey, there's 5 girls. He puts 5 girls' names on my heart, and says, you need to apologize to these 5 ladies that you hurt in the past. And I'm like thinking, man, these are girls I dated 10, 12 years ago. Alexis was one of them. She was the only one that actually replied back to my message. Everybody,
your DM.
My DM, I slid back in the DM. Everybody else, I got yelled at. Some didn't reply. Some were just so upset. But she was the only one that said, you know what? This was 3 years ago. I forgave you back then. Let's grab lunch. Let's catch up. And then we just became friends again. Yeah. So I guess that's the story that leads up to everything else.
Should we finish it?
If you want to continue from that point, your point of view.
Where did we leave off? Oh, so we started
the lunch.
We started hanging out again during COVID and just rebuilding our friendship because there was 3 years of absolutely no contact.
Nothing.
No social media,
Nope.
no messages or anything.
Nope.
And we became friends again and led me back to God. And we just ate and talked about, like, most of our conversations were about God.
Yeah, it was so like, let's say May kicked off, and then we hung out, went to dinners a lot, went to lunch a lot. And August of 2020, when you said, so what is this? We've done this before. You know, what's going on here? Are we going through the same things, same motions that we did 3 years ago? And I remember praying in the car. I think it was after we had dinner. And God told me to tell her, we're not supposed to date, but I'm supposed to protect her. And then her reaction was,
what does that mean?
I'm like, I don't know. He just told me. He just told me this is what's supposed to happen. And so we remain friends. She's going out on dates. She's still, seeing guys and stuff like that. She would ask me for advice about, hey, what do you think about this guy? And I'm just being a friend. Hey, this is what I think. This guy is, he seems really nice, really good. Other guys, it seems like they're just trying to get in your pants. Whatever it is, I'm just being honest about it. And so it wasn't until January of 2021, God in prayer told me, ask her out. I was like, what? This whole time you told us to be friends. I'm just supposed to protect her. And right when I asked her out on February 15th, right after she said yes, I hear God just really in my mind saying, I wanted you to protect her so she can build her trust as the man back in her life. After 3 years of not talking to each other, after what I put her through previously, it was like a redemptive story of building trust and honesty all over again. And so, yeah, we go out, and I think it was August, we started shopping for rings.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like preliminary. We just were having fun looking at it. But she fell in love with the shape. She fell in love with the size. And I could see it on her face, like, oh boy, this is the ring. And I took that, as most men would probably know, that swallow, and I realized, like, hey, we're about to take the next step. And so, yeah.
But can I add one more thing?
Please.
When we started dating in 2017, we went to the beach.
Oh.
And we were just sitting on the beach, and I asked God, I said, God, if he is the man for me, please show me a heart-shaped rock. And I've never asked for anything like that ever before. And lo and behold, I found a perfectly heart-shaped rock. Mm-hmm. And I didn't tell Michael about it. I just threw it in my bag because I said, okay, God showed me he's my husband. And when we were leaving, I couldn't find the rock anymore. But I said, it's okay. God's already shown me that he's my husband. I don't need a physical symbol to remind me that he's mine. But we broke up a month after. So I was devastated because immediately he started dating somebody else.
Yeah.
And I was upset with God. And I asked him, why would you show me this if he doesn't belong to me? Fast forward to the day before Michael asked me to be his girlfriend in 2021.
Right.
We were at a beach, and he asked God, in his head, he asked God for a sign.
If you're here, can you show me a heart-shaped rock? Just randomly, I was just asking, God, if you're here with us right now, can you show me a heart-shaped rock?
And we looked down. We were listening to worship music. We looked down, and Michael said, hey, look, a heart-shaped rock. And also, Michael didn't know the story at all. He had no idea.
No idea.
about the heart-shaped rock.
Yeah.
And so it gave me a flashback of what happened in 2017 about my heart-shaped rock. So we realized that God did show me that he is my husband, but the reason why I couldn't find that rock to take home was because God still needed him. Still needed to refine Michael.
Yeah, still needed to refine me. God had to take back me, put me through another relationship to really refine me and my edges, and heal from a lot of past traumas when it comes to relationship, when it comes to family stuff. And then where I can be as confident and convicted as I am to be a leading man for a woman in Alexis. And so, yeah, it's a deep story. I think a lot of times when we tell the story, we get surprised with how much God has been just laced in this whole story. I just want to say that a lot of times, and I'm still learning this, like we were raised in a way there's a list of things like, oh, you're supposed to look for this in a partner, look for that. They have to go to this school or make this money, but none of that matters. No, like it truly doesn't matter. Because when we realized that we ripped up our list, just submitted that to God, and God just said, I know exactly what you need. I hear what you want, but I know exactly what you need. And so I'm going to deliver on that promise. And we're here now doing this video leading into our wedding. Go figure. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, when did you know?
I've known.
Oh, you've known
I've
since
known
2016. I'm the knucklehead.
That you were my husband.
Right.
And then God confirmed in 2017 with the heart-shaped rock.
Yeah.
And I remember as Michael and I were just friends, I kept saying, "This works. Like it makes sense to me. Why can't you see it?"
Because I was being dumb.
It took him some time it took him 3 years.
I was still being a knucklehead, and so.
Yeah. When did you know?
I knew right when God told me to ask you out, because at that time I was very diligent prior to that to say, and people would ask me after my breakup with my ex of so what are you looking for in a girl now, right? And my only answer to everybody was, I need her to be a prayerful woman, a woman of God who has her own relationship with God, and who will love God more than she'll ever love me. Who will love God more than she will ever love me. That was the only criteria I had. I'm like, God, everything else, you're gonna do with it. Any of my desires or wants, I know you're gonna handle it. But that was the only thing I submitted to him, and that's it. And I was very diligent with that. Even the time that we were just friends, people were like I'm like, no, you're not a prayerful person. I'm not ready. I'm still healing. And God just had this light of like, I'll show you. And I just believed and trusted in what he showed me, who the person I would be. Because what I learned on my journey is the person that's supposed to be with me, there's a bigger purpose to it. It's not just us two being together. Like there's going to be, because of our testimony and our story, there's going to be this like overwhelming sensation of people can resonate with it. People can heal from it. And yeah, there's just a bigger purpose to this relationship than just being in a relationship. Yeah. But I knew right when God told me, like, ask her out. Boom. Yeah.
special about your significant other that others may not know?
You want to go first?
Okay. Michael loves to sing.
Stop. But I'm not good at all.
He's not great, but he can carry a tune, but he loves to sing. He sings all the time, but only in front of me. And he's also a great, well, not songwriter, but rhymer. so
Have fun.
He comes up with songs really, really easily, better than I can. So that's actually very impressive.
Let's get it straight. She's the singer between us two. Definitely the singer. She was blessed with a beautiful voice. I'm a dancer. I just love dancing. It's just been my thing ever since I was a kid. I only sing around her because I know she can put up with it. That's it. Like, no one else is gonna hear it. Don't even ask me to karaoke with you. Nope.
But you're my favorite singer, though.
Next to yourself. I appreciate that. I would say for Alexis, man, one for me, she's an amazing cook. And against anything that her brothers have said or like family may believe that she doesn't know how to cook, you guys slept on it because she kept it to herself. She cooks really well. And I think the one thing that I really appreciate is the intention. I think a lot of people have noticed Alexis's intention in life and how much she cares, but I don't think they understand the level and depth of how she pays attention to detail and is so caring. And I really pray that people will start seeing that as she's becoming more and more outspoken about her walk. So yeah, I would say those things.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Next question is, how did you propose?
On bended knee. Let's see. So I know that she's always wanted to be proposed or get married around the Christmas time.
I liked the idea of being
Right.
proposed to during Christmas,
Yeah.
the holidays.
And so,
I didn't think it was gonna happen.
right? But what's funny is that, so when we were ring shopping and finally like started making payments on the ring, it was in September. God told me the exact date, which was December 18th of 2021. So which is a week before Christmas time. Was like, wow, you're really gonna play this out the way that she's always desired for her to get engaged. And so I had that all planned out. I planned it with her younger sister because they're all out of state, out of the area, that she was gonna FaceTime me, and we would be in the middle of our godly gathering. So once a month we do this prayer at a park. A lot of people come. But on December 18th of 2021, we had it all set up where we had everybody there. And then her family called in, FaceTime me. I gave her my phone. She walked away from it. And as she walked away from it and talked to her family, her sister was telling her to turn around. And by that time I was on a knee and I had all of our godly family, all the people who've been praying for our relationship behind me. And so when she turned around, she didn't believe this was happening.
Because when my family knew that it was a busy day for us, so I was like, why are they FaceTiming? And they're FaceTiming Michael and not me. So then I had my mom and my sisters on there, and my sister Andrea said, turn around. And I was so confused, but when she said it a second time, I had a little click in my head, like, wait a minute. So I turned around and there he was on one knee, and I immediately like lost it.
Yeah.
Because I was so surprised, because even though we were ring shopping, Michael kept saying, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. It's going to take some time. So,
I really didn't know how.
So I thought you were going to propose in April because our birthdays are 3 days apart. And it was a huge surprise, and it was the best thing because we had all of our closest friends there, and it was at the Godly Gathering.
Yeah.
It was right before Christmas, and it was beautiful. And we had friends that captured the moment for us on their phones and the cameras. So we're so grateful for that.
Yeah.
She said yes.
What are you most excited for about the wedding?
There's so many things we're looking forward to.
Yeah.
And also the planning process has been so smooth. God has been in every aspect
Every detail right now. Oh my
of
goodness.
from the venue to our vendors to our finances, everything.
Yeah.
God he has hands on every little thing. And we're just excited to bring everybody together to celebrate not only us, but what God has done in the last 2
years?
2 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
But we made a lot of friends during COVID through our church. And this will be the first time we're meeting so many of them who live out of state.
Yeah.
So we've only met them via FaceTime and Zoom. So this will be the first time that we're actually face to face. And we're so excited to just bring all of our friends and our family together.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just there's anticipation for this day. And it's not even just for us. Just there's a lot of people who have been praying. There's a lot of people who have just blessed us in so many different ways. And for it to all culminate, we know that it's just the start. The wedding's just the start. Like it's not going to be like, oh, this is it. This is the big no, this is just the start. But it's an opportunity for all of us to get together to celebrate the work of what God did and what he's been doing. And I'm praying that whoever's going to be there and can make it that day will feel a move, a shift that will happen within themselves. Because there's going to be a lot of people that it's going to be interesting, because I think for our family, they're going to be like, whoa, there's a very ethnically diverse group of people at our wedding. And so we're really excited to bring everybody together just to continue to glorify God.
And I feel like we're not even looking at it like it's about us.
Yeah.
It's more of like, it's like the godly gathering. I don't know what number it'll be, but it'll be like and a half. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, yeah, we just feel like this is just going to be a big celebration. Yeah.
Okay, and your last question for today is, any advice for anyone who's waiting to get married?
Yes.
Okay, you go first.
Be patient with yourself. There's a reason I think people don't realize that being single, it's okay. And a lot of times that they rush into it because one, you have family pressuring you saying, oh, you're this age now. When are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? Blah, 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 blah. It never ends, right? Like you might accomplish one thing and then they're going to throw on you another question and another question. Don't. I would say be patient with yourself. Allow yourself to be present in the process, right? Because you know, through my experience of being single, one of the things that I had to do was really attack my traumas and things that I never really looked deep inside that I was still trying to heal from. To be a leading man, right? I didn't have deep conversations when it comes to how to be a man or a husband. And so I realized that there's a lot of times in your singleness that you need to take some time to yourself and evaluate where you're at, even your circle of friends, your circle of influence, and just the things you're doing in life. Because if you're being motivated by other things, other people and stuff like that, it's gonna burn out. And until you really find yourself in that time, you're not gonna completely get it. And so be very patient with yourself, be kind to yourself. Because I think a lot of times we put so much pressure on ourselves. Because you might look at your friend like, oh man, he found someone or she found someone.
When is it my turn?
When is it my turn? It's okay. Your time will come when God ordains it and says like, I'm gonna send you the right person.
And God has the perfect person for every one of us. And patience. Michael's 41.
I'm 41.
He's 41. And he finally saw the light.
But I say we laugh about that, but I think it needs to be said, like even at this age, this was the time for me. You might have known since you were 16 in the person. Like I know friends from high school who were dating at 16 and they're married till today. So everybody has their own timing, so don't compare yourself to the next person, right? And whatever anyone says, it's okay. Like,
and I thank God that we didn't work out in
Back then.
2016, 2017 because we weren't ready emotionally and spiritually.
yeah,
I know that was just God protecting us, because if we would have gotten into a relationship back then,
would have been a show.
it would have not made it.
Yeah,
And God really needed to refine us and heal us from our traumas and pain.
for sure.
But my advice is don't settle.
Ooh,
So
speak about that.
To all the pressures that the world may be giving you, your family, whatever it is, or just don't settle. Because the person that you've been praying for, the person that you've always wanted, because for me, I didn't necessarily have a list, but I knew I wanted a man who loved me just unconditionally and as much as God loves me. And it's just right here, but better than I could even ever could have imagined.
Okay, perfect. And cut.
Yay!
How was that? This fun.
You kind of touched base on it already. What was your reaction to the proposal?
Oh yeah, we did that one already.
She had the most beautiful ugly cry ever in history. It was amazing.
No.
Okay.
Those in the bloopers.
Nice.
We've never done this before. I've never sat up here before. Uh-oh. We're stuck.
This isn't the bloopers.